Hall.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. The Bison Basketball Show with NDSU head coaches Dave Richman and Jory Collins. The Bison Basketball Show is presented by Gate City Bank for a better way of life. And Pepsi.
Hey everybody, welcome on in to our first edition of the Bison Basketball Show, along with NDSU men's coach Dave Richman. I'm Sam Neidermann. We'll hear from NDSU women's coach Jory Collins, along with players Bowden Skunberg from the men's team and Heaven Hamling from the women's team here later on in the show. It's basketball season here in Bison Country, and Coach, can't believe that the season has already arrived. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Full preseason beer and all, Sam, and exciting is such a cliche word. It's such a word that's thrown around a lot, but it's true. It's a fun time of year. We've got a great group of guys that reflect what we want to be reflected by, and that's toughness, togetherness. We've had tremendous spirit throughout our practices the last couple of weeks, and it's time to get going, time to throw this ball up.
It's great to hear, Coach. The beard is looking really good. I love it. Before we dig into this year's team, year 10 for you as the head coach of this program. 20 in the program overall. How about the journey and another chapter about to be written here for you?
Very grateful, Sam. For my family, myself, to do what we love to do around people that we love, it's been truly special, an absolute blessing. And you are a culmination of all the events and journeys and the people that you have surrounded yourself with. And NDSU is a special place. Both my wife and I have our degrees from NDSU. Our families are from around here. We're raising our daughters in a wonderful community and happen to do something, too, along the lines of just a tremendous group of young men. And we get to compete. We get to be involved in that spirit and atmosphere of college athletics, and it's been a true blessing for us.
Well, Coach, this year's team is a year older than last year. Last year it was the baby Bison. You guys grew as the season went on, made it back to the Summit League championship game. Now you've got all this experience back. 16th most returning minutes in Division I hoops. Tell me how much this team has grown from last year at this time to now. Yeah,
you're going to visit with Boden in a little bit, but, Boden and I have talked quite a bit just the difference that a year makes. And we might not be the baby Bison, but we're not the adult Bison either. We're the toddler version, and that's good. We're making progress. And I think when you say the 16th most experienced returning in college basketball, that speaks to the game today, the landscape and how everything is changing. But our guys, Jason Miller is someone that behind the scenes doesn't get enough credit. I try to talk about him and what he does in the strength and conditioning department. I think that's the first thing that you'll see, Sam. Our guys physically look more mature. They have an understanding of the rigors of college basketball, the travels, the intensity needed every day. And because of those things, hopefully we can start at a higher bar, but the goal is always to continue to get better on a daily basis.
You look at this roster, Coach, the two headliners for you, a couple of preseason all-conference picks, Bowden Skunberg, first team All-Summit League, and then your big man, Andrew Morgan, on the second team. What can we expect out of those two guys?
Well, I think you're seeing growth and maturity in both of them. Bowden is a very competitive young man. Him and I have talked a lot about his next step is just the nuances of the game, having the game slow down for him. He's done a terrific job this offseason of bringing guys into the gym with him. And that's how he leads. Challenged him, continued to challenge him to lead in a more vocal way, no bad days, having that spirit about him and bringing guys with. And Big Morg's really, really proud of him. He's matured. There's a better understanding between Andrew Morgan and Dave Richman of what's expected from both of us. When you look at 6'9", 245, and the talent, the basketball acumen, and all those things that Andrew brings to the table, a very talented, very special young man.
Coach, there's a lot more after those two. You guys have some depth, and you've got a lot of different guys who can contribute in different ways. Tell me about what you have in the rest of the rotation.
Well, I think that's going to be one of our strengths, Sam, is that we've got some depth and versatility. We can play big. We can play small. Javis Miller is a guy that's a year older. Damari Wheeler-Thomas at the point. You can see when he goes, we really go like Case in point, that semifinal game against South Dakota State. You're seeing some offensive flash here by Lance Waddles, who's had a tremendous offseason. Jakari White is another guy that, has the ability to do some very unique things, guarding the ball with the ball in his hands. Josh Strite, who will back up Andrew Morgan, has had just a tremendous offseason. A servant leader, has expanded some things to his game. So, again, excited. Noah Feddersen is somebody that redshirted for us last year. Is there going to be an adjustment when the lights come on and there's real things flying around? Yeah, absolutely. But Noah does some things at 6'10", 240 that you're just not supposed to do. Really excited about him, and I know I'm missing some guys, but that's good. I mean, there's gonna be some things that can be filled in at different points and times, and when you look at the course of 5 months of a season, you're going to need different guys at different points. And we talk a lot about being 1 to 14, 14 to 1, a combination of all of our parts. This group reflects that.
Coach, how much confidence have you seen from some of the guys like Damari or Tajavis, who played a ton as freshmen last year going into their sophomore years?
Yeah, it's a great point. I think you gain confidence through experience. You gain confidence when you have 10 extra pounds on you and you can absorb some contact around the rim. You gain confidence from an understanding of what's expected. And again, from being uncomfortable. You're taking young men that are the best of the best, not only in their team or their conference, but sometimes even in their state. And there's a humility to that when they come to college basketball and they're not the best. And you got to work through some things. But that adversity, working through, gaining those experiences, being stronger, all leads to that confidence that you need to continue to grow and get better.
No doubt. Let's take a look at the Summit League preseason poll. Coach, obviously these polls don't mean anything at the end of the day to the program and to you guys and what you're focused on doing. Pick number 3. But you look at this league, it's going to be a good challenging season once again in the Summit.
Well, I think first and foremost, yeah, I'm not one that jumps up and down over preseason polls, but it creates some buzz. It creates some excitement. It gets people talking about basketball. It gets people talking about Summit League basketball. And our league is continuing to do some things to raise the bar, to create some exposure and bring a light, shine a light on the really good brand of basketball that we have. And we're very proud of our sustained success. Preseason number 3 is what it is, and whether we were 3, 1, or 9, the whole premise of our program is to continue to work, to continue to grow, to be uncomfortable, but to love each other and get better on a daily basis. And when we've been able to do those things, we've been able to be where we want and sustain the level of success. And hopefully this year we can be back there again, but push over the top.
Looking forward to it, Coach. Tip-off November 6th, couple weeks from now when we're recording this. It'll be Monday, November 6th at Western Michigan. I can't wait. Appreciate the time, Coach Richman.
Great to have you along for the ride, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you. More to come here on the Bison Basketball Show. When we come back, we're talking with NDSU men's star Bowden Skunberg. Just in a minute.
Smile for Grandma.
When you're living with low vision, life can be a challenge. Everyday tasks and the things you love to do can become difficult and feel impossible. If you're 55 or older and your world has gotten smaller because of vision loss, it's time to be bold. Time to be Bold is helping people like you with low vision regain your independence. Go to timetobebold.org for a list of services in your state that will give you the tools, technology, training, and support you need to live your bold, best life. Join others who found a bright, bold future. Go to timetobebold.org. Help is here. Go to timetobebold.org today.
Welcome back into the Bison Basketball Show. We've got NDSU men's star Bowden Skunberg here with us. And Boden, can't believe that the season is already here, man. How has the preparation been for you and your teammates as you guys get ready?
Yeah, man, it's been going by fast, but we've just been staying together. I know Coach kind of talked about it when he was on here, but it's a really different year. We're kind of hitting the ground running. A lot of these younger guys, they already know what they're doing, so it's been really fun preparing. I think we're really ready for this game on Friday.
Boden last year, 14 points a game, first team all-conference for the preseason this season. Where do you feel like you've made improvements in your game this offseason?
I think it's just been, getting others involved, focusing more on my leadership, just focus on, things outside of, what I can do, like spacing, passing the ball, just getting others involved from more leadership standpoint,
You mentioned the leadership. How much have you learned about that role as you take it into your senior season here?
Oh yeah, going into my junior year, I was kind of thrown into the fire, because, all of a sudden I'm the oldest guy, but, it's been fun learning, learning about myself, what I can do as a leader and just continuing to grow as a person and on the floor. But, like I said, just getting others involved, and it's been really fun.
You're from Jamestown, so you're an in-state kid representing the state of North Dakota. What does that mean to you when you put on the green and gold for NDSU?
It means everything, growing up from North Dakota, everybody wears green and gold. I grew up watching Bison games, so you feel that love everywhere you go, and it's cool that, I have a lot of family here too. So, it's really awesome getting to see them in all my games, and it's a blessing.
How many buzzer beaters are we going to get for you this season?
Hopefully none. Hopefully we win by a bunch, but I don't know. We'll see.
If you're called upon, we know you got the clutch G. So
yeah.
I love it. Bowden, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Looking forward to seeing what you and your teammates do this season. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Love it. Bowden Skunberg from NDSU Men's Hoops. We got more to come here on the Bison Basketball Show. When we come back, we're talking about the Bison women's team. NDSU coach Jory Collins will join us. That's on the other side here on the Bison Basketball Show.
I'm Sarah Gore, and this is Open House.
Welcome to my home.
Hi, Patricia.
Sarah. This is very déclassé.
We're at a very special place today in Mahopac, New York. Welcome to Petra Island.
Right now, we are at 157 West 57th Street, Billionaire Row's first super tall skyscraper.
Saturdays at 6:30 p.m.
After I lost my mom, I was depressed and resentful. I couldn't find my way, but I am not lost.
I should know. I work in behavior health for youth advocate programs. YAP. I empower Blessing with tools so she can see her strengths and set positive goals.
As a little kid, I experienced trauma and I acted out. Made some mistakes, but I'm not a mistake.
No, she's a good student and a great kid. As Jalen's YAP advocate, I'm always here for her.
We need YAP. The youth and the communities, they need strong support systems. I try to help the youth understand if you have a change of mindset, you can have a change of action.
YAP gives communities alternatives to residential care, youth incarceration, and neighborhood violence. After completing our program, nearly 90% of participants remain in their community. YAP works.
And now I'm finding joy and excited about my future.
Youth Advocate Programs. Others talk social change. We make it happen.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back out into the Bison Basketball Show. We've got NDSU women's coach Jory Collins here with us. Coach Collins, great to see you. Season is here. How are you doing, my friend?
Great to see you, Sam. We're doing great. We're ready to get rolling.
Absolutely. You look back at last year, Coach, a banner season for you guys in year 4 for you. You guys make the NIT, postseason berth, set a ton of different marks that hadn't been set in this program in a number of years. How much growth have you seen from last year to this year as you guys continue to build some momentum here?
Yeah, last year we were able to check some boxes in our ability to improve our program and keep growing and take it to higher levels, and still a lot of work to do. And fortunately, we're bringing back 6 players that were a big part of that last year, along with some newcomers that have high expectations and came here for high expectations. So mending those 2 groups together and hoping to, take off from where we left off last year is obviously the goal.
You start with 2 preseason all-conference selections on this roster. Heaven Hamling is back. Elle Evans is back on the first team and second team, respectively, here in the Summit League. How about those 2 key players for you?
Yeah, I mean, to be able to have 2 players picked in the top 6 preseason, says a lot about them, obviously, individually. Heaven's been a stalwart in our league here for, I think this will be her 4th year playing in the Summit League, and has been one of the best players in the league since she showed up. And to be able to have Elle Evans, be freshman of the year last year, come back this year, and there's always a big jump between freshman and sophomore season, and I think Elle's going to show that as well. So, as a coach, it's always comforting to have 2 players of that caliber, know they're on your team, and you get to lace it up every day with those 2.
Coach, tell me about what else you have featured in the rotation.
Yeah, we're going to return, 6 players that played a bunch. Abby Schulte, as a 4th-year senior, brings a great presence, probably the best coach on the court that we have as far as helping our younger players get organized. We're going to have Abby Graham, played a bunch of minutes last year, but there's going to be some players that are stepping up. Abby Draper has had a tremendous offseason and preseason. A couple freshmen. Marwa Bedziri's a post player from Sweden that redshirted last year that is going to have to pick up the pace for us, losing Emily Binky off last year's team. And then Leah McKenzie as a backup point guard, also redshirted. So they were around last year. This is still going to be their first action. So they're going to have to get their feet wet a little bit, but I'm excited about those guys joining the rotation.
Coach, you look at the program and how far it's come since you took over here. This is year 5. Preseason Summit League poll, let's take a look at it. You guys were picked in the number 2 slot behind SDSU. What's the motivation for you guys as you try and get over the hump and bring home hardware to this program again?
Yeah, I think, preseason polls are great, Sam, and I think every coach would tell you that. It's nice to be picked high. It's nice to have expectations. But none of those polls or coaches have as high as expectations as we do as coaches and players on our team. So we're going to try to be our best version. We think if we play close to our potential, that's going to be good enough to be in the running to be conference champions this year. And that's what we got to go out and do, is strive to be the best that we can be. And we're getting to a point now where that's good enough for us to be in the mix and become conference champs.
Let's take a look at the schedule. Starting in November, you guys open up with a heavyweight, and this isn't the end of the non-conference schedule because you guys have some haymakers in there. Starting off at Creighton in Sioux Falls, that's going to be a good one to set the tone.
That's going to be big time. They're a big time program. They are very veteran laden. They're top, I think they're ranked 22 in the country preseason. So top 25 team on a neutral site. To get our feet wet is obviously a huge challenge, but also we're going to learn a lot about ourselves, and it's going to benefit us going forward. So couldn't be happier about being able to tip off in Sioux Falls in a week.
You guys also play Minnesota on the road, had the Gophers here last season in Fargo. Let's take a look at December, Coach. Couple of tough road ones to close out non-conference play before you guys turn your attention to conference, at Drake and then at a very good Iowa State club.
Yeah, losing Western Illinois, we had a couple spots open up, and the pickings are pretty slim to fill out your schedule. So Drake has always been a terrific mid-major program. Iowa State and Coach Finley, those guys do a terrific job. That'll be a big challenge in road swing. And again, we're trying to play the toughest non-con we can to try to get ourselves as good as we can to get to Summit League play. And obviously you can see there that there's plenty of challenges ahead for us.
Right before the new year, you guys will open up Summit League play at South Dakota. Let's take a look at what Summit League looks like in the month of January. You'll have the Big Sky Summit League Challenge, Montana State, Northern Arizona. And then you get a couple at home, Kansas City and Omaha, as you guys get into the league.
Yeah, I'm excited about the Big Sky Challenge that we're doing that this year and have the opportunity to play some teams kind of in our region, but similar, similar size schools Montana State's obviously going to be tough at home. They're always really good. Northern Arizona, I believe, won their league last year, was a 20-some game winner. We get them at home. So it's full of challenges. But like I said, that's going to get us ready for those home games and conference play where we can get some momentum and some confidence and be ready to take on the league.
Flip the calendar into February. Coach Collins, you've got some of the traditional rivals. SDSU will be at home February 1st. You'll close out the season March 2nd at SDSU. That'll be a big gauntlet there as the last month.
Yeah, I mean, you can see our last 3 games of the year: North Dakota, South Dakota, South Dakota State. You know, I really hope those last 3, and I really believe that those 3 are going to determine a champion in our league. I'm really excited that we get 2 of those 3 at home. We had tremendous support last year at home and a tremendous home record, and would love for that to continue.
Coach, I can't believe that the season's right around the corner. Real quick before we let you go, a message to the fan base to come out and support.
Yeah, come see us. We have a really exciting team. We have some people that you know that are veterans, great players. So we have some young players that you're going to want to get to know and see. But it's going to be an exciting brand of basketball. We're going to be good and fun to watch.
I love it, Coach. Appreciate the time. It's going to be a fun season for the NDSU women's squad, and a big reason why. Heaven Hamling coming up next. We're going to talk with the NDSU veteran guard here on the Bison Basketball Show.
Dear moms and dads, we know it's not always been easy, and it's been a lot of hard work. What you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas. Mom, love you all.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
All right, Soledad, we're ready.
Every week, as I get ready to talk with you about the issues shaping our future, I think about how, despite differing opinions and perspectives, most of us just want to understand and make things better. Well, this is a good place to start, where we always have conversations as diverse as America, and everybody's story matters. I'm Soledad O'Brien. Join me for Matter of Fact.
Sundays at 11 a.m.
My name is Juanita Segura, and I was diagnosed in November of 2014 with non-small cell lung cancer. The first time I heard about biomarker testing was actually my husband. He just started researching about lung cancer.
And I found out about biomarker testing, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, why not? Let's try it.
Comprehensive biomarker testing is looking for either substances in the blood or mutations in some of the genes of the cancer cells that can help us identify special types of lung cancer that can be treated with what we call targeted therapies.
Letting my children know brought all of us a sense of hope. To give them hope that mom is gonna be around to see you grow up. And I promised them that.
If you or a loved one are facing non-small cell lung cancer, ask your doctor about how comprehensive biomarker testing before treatment may help you and your doctor decide on the best treatment for you. Visit knownmiss.org for more.
Back here on the Bison Basketball Show with NDSU women's guard Heaven Hamling. Heaven, great to see you. Can you believe that the season is already here?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, and it's crazy. I mean, I felt like I just got out of surgery and I was in preseason 2 weeks ago, but now we're here and we're ready to kick things off.
Yeah, ready to rock and roll. Big season expected for you and your teammates. You guys have been practicing. Tell me what you guys have been doing in practice. What stood out to you about this team?
Yeah, I think we're just really starting to get everything set. Like, we're getting our plays in. We're getting ready for another team coming up. So we just had an inter-squad scrimmage last Saturday. So just really competing and getting things locked in. So that's kind of how practices are looking right now.
You come into this season having first team all-conference preseason pick. What is your personal goal for your game this year on the hardwood?
Yeah, I think just have fun. You know, it's my last year. There's going to be a lot of laughs. I've already experienced a lot of laughs. So just have fun, work hard, and be there at the end. I know when we go to Sioux Falls, we don't want to be out the first round. We're going to be there at the end, and I think this year we really have a big chance to do that.
Heaven, you look at some of your other teammates, Elle Evans, freshman of the year in the conference last season. She was on the preseason all-conference team as well. How much have you seen her grow?
So much. I mean, you look at Elle and it's like, wow, like I don't want to guard her. Like I don't want to be matched up with her. So it's just crazy to see her bringing people with her and getting people in the gym with her and her stepping up and leading. I know when you're a freshman, it's kind of hard to be like, hey, do this, do that. But now as she has 1 year under her belt, she can really bring someone along and say, hey, this is where we're supposed to be at on defense. This is what we got to do here and there. So just seeing her lead and be a vocal leader is really where I think she's going to exceed this year.
I love that. One of my favorite stories heading into this season is the fact that you have reunited with your sister, Taryn. She's a freshman on the team. You guys are playing together. How cool is that for you guys, with it being your last year, her first year here, that you guys get to play together?
Yeah, it's so crazy. I think I was telling my SID that when I was a senior in high school, she was a 7th grader. So it's a big jump. We're a pretty big age gap in difference. So it's just special. I mean, for my parents to be up there and watch us both play for the same team, it's so cool. And I enjoy coming to practice every day and having my little sister there.
I love it. I'm sure we're going to get some good Hamling moments on the court this season. I love that, Heaven. Well, when you look at this upcoming year for you guys, you mentioned last year early exit in the conference tournament, not what you guys were looking at. What's the motivation been like for you guys to go out there and get over the hump and bring home the hardware?
Yeah, well, I think the people that we're bringing back are really determined this year, and they know what it's going to be like at Sioux Falls. I mean, it's a great facility to play in, a lot of fans, even fans who, you know, aren't even for our team or the people that we're playing against are there. So they know what it's like, and they know, hey, we want to be there at the end. And then the freshmen coming in, they're all from the surrounding areas as well. You know, Mariley, Abby Krasinski, Avery, and then my sister as well. They know what we want to do down there, and they've seen us and they've heard us talk about it. Like, hey, this is the real deal. We need to really lock in even now. So because that all leads up to in March. So yeah, that's just kind of how we've been going at it right now.
Well said, Heaven. Sky is the limit for you and your teammates. I can't wait to see you guys ball out. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
Heaven Hamling, NDSU women's basketball here with us. That'll do it for this edition of the Bison Basketball Show. We're going to have all kinds of Bison hoops coverage for you as we go out through the rest of the year. Make sure you get out to the Shack and support both programs starting in November. For Heaven, Coach Collins, Coach Richman, and Boden, I'm Sam Neidermann. Thanks to our crew. We'll catch you guys next time.
The Bison Basketball Show is presented by Gate City Bank for a better way of life. And Pepsi.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.
Every crime scene has secrets.
Every victim has an untold story.
And within every mystery lies the truth.
Our job is to find it. The original true crime series, Dateline.
Weekdays at 1 p.m.
For more than 30 years, I've lived with Graves' disease, the most common